Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome back to another week, another edition here of the Convergence Cup. Convergence Cup number 30, your bi-weekly dose of Brazilian StarCraft. I'm of course your site VIP, with you enjoyed by these amazing players and by the people in the chat as well. Welcome, welcome, one and all. Bienvenidos. We have returned here with some Brazilian StarCraft. It's been a while. I do apologize for us putting this on the backlog, but finally we can start to catch up on some of these other tournaments like Convergence Cup and like StarCraft Evolution as well. We should be able to catch up, should be able to divulge into some Latin American StarCraft. Of course, there's also some big news going on at the moment, and if you haven't heard, but the new patch has been announced. I was made aware that a patch was coming a couple of weeks ago. Didn't know when it was going to be, didn't know what was going to be in it either, but was made aware nonetheless. And yeah, it's finally here. We most likely are going to be having an impromptu podcast later on tonight. That'll be the plan to have the podcast and to discuss the changes, because this is some pretty big changes, papi. Likewise, we'll most likely be hosting our tournaments on the PTR in the near future as well. So the Tuna Cups, the MSOs, the SDOs, most likely. The one downside of hosting everything on the PTR is I believe the PTR is only one server. It might be two, but I have to double check, but I think it's like one or two servers, so it does mean that players are going to be playing on a higher ping than usual. So that is going to be a bit of a shame, but I do think it's going to be worth it though. Like, I think everything on the PTR would make the most sense, just because it's pretty big changes and big sweeping changes, and I feel like the most amount of events held on the PTR, the better, just so we can provide feedback, assuming that they will take feedback into consideration, of course. Yeah, big news. But we'll be discussing that a little bit later on in the future, later on tonight, I should say. So think around like 10-ish hours time. We'll go over the passionates, but otherwise we have our tournament here. We have Convergence Cup. We're going to be jumping into the semi-finals. Here we go. So the plan here is semi-finals into grand finals into the Kung Fu Cup. For those who remember, I didn't get to finish our coverage of Kung Fu Cup number 7 just because my voice was dying at the time, and mid-finals we had to end the stream. That was last week, if you remember, if not the beginning of this week. It was last week, so I wasn't able to finish Convergence Cup, so we are going to be, because today's broadcast should be a little bit shorter, we're going to be hosting the rest of those finals here after the finals of Convergence Cup. That'll be the plan. That'll be the plan. We're going to be jumping in mid-series into Beyond versus Hero. That'll be later on in the broadcast. But now, though, we're going to be jumping into INexorable versus Papito, TvT. Let's go, Papi, let's go. For those who are unaware, Papito, he is a Brazilian Terran player that has been rising through the ranks as of late. He's been more active in tournaments, and he's been looking quite impressive as well. Still, there's a bit of a gap between, say, Papito and Kamikaze and INexorable and Yan, for example. But really cool to see him competing on a more regular basis. Always a spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Tourmaline. We have the blue Terran player. We have the blue Terran, the Brazilian Terran, representing Insane Master Killers. It is INexorable. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the Brazilian Terran player, the red Terran, representing Host Gaming. It is Papito. Papito. Let's go. So I'm just saying a little bit, but here we go. We're jumping into our series, jumping into our best of 3. Papito, not quite a papi, of course, but Papito nonetheless. So basically the same thing. for those who are unaware with the Latin American language, with Spanish, or I guess Brazilian in this case, Portuguese, typically when you add ito at the end, it's like a cute way of saying it. So, like, you know, instead of Juan, what do we say? We say Juanito, baby, Juanito, for special, for example. Or whenever I call Vindicta, whenever I talk to him, instead of calling Miguel, I call him Miguelito. So here, instead of Papi, it's Papito. It's like a cute, endearing way of saying the word. Typically, you'd say that to like someone younger than you, or to like a kid or something. Say Papito. There you go. It reminds me of, say, I don't know, like the equivalent of I'm thinking of in StarCraft terms is what I guess. Like I could like baby marine, like like young zest, you know. What else? I think there's another example. Baby marine, young zest, DRG ling, I guess. Yeah, sure. It's like a younger way of saying it, if that makes sense. But here we go. For now, we are going to be moving out. So we do have our initial Reaper moving out across the map. Again, we do have a mirrored build so far. We do have a double gas opener, faster factory into a delayed CC. Meanwhile, INexorable gets across the map with his Reaper. Papito does the same. Again, mirrored builds. Mirrored builds. Both CCs are going to be delayed. Both players will lose their workers. Meanwhile, we just see Papito moving further in. Ooh, he does KDA charge. Does shoot first. And does take down the Reaper as well. Very nice start here from Papito. Takes out 1, 2 SCVs and the Reaper as well. That should not have happened. That should not have happened here. So INexorable, he does have some miscontrol. He did move command his Reaper to the low ground, so he got shot first. He will eventually clean this up, but the damage has been done, and this is still a better trade, a better fight for Papito. True. Better fight. And with that, Papito, he does back up, does pull back. We have our initial 1-1-1. And we do veer off here. It looks like a slightly faster starport here from our Terran player into his own Tech Lab follow-up. This can lead into Banshee play, can lead into Raven play. Raven is very standard in TvT, as INexorable does actually get the second SCV. Okay. We're equalizing when it comes to losses. You can see 2-1, 2-1, 2 SCVs, 1 Reaper a piece. But again, this still impacted INexorable that much more. And we catch out the Hellions as well. Very nice. Hellions getting caught. As both should go down. Oh, actually, the Reaper will distract the initial army here into the main base. And we're getting a little bit out of hand here. 5 SCV kills. Oh my god. 5, 6. 6 SCVs going down. This should not have happened. Once again, some brutal damage to the main. We're getting messy. We're getting messy at this point. Papito having a late reaction into his own main expansion. And with that, INexorable will take a worker lead. It does take an economic lead here behind this, getting to his own standard follow-up, his own cyclone, his own Raven production. Likewise, we have a Raven on the way for Papito as well. Eventually to his own upgrade of choice into into Interference Matrix. We'll eventually get there. As we're still just moving into each other's faces. We're still just pushing, Papi. Yeah. Okay. That's from here we get locked on a couple Marines. Does focus down 1, 2. We can throw down an order charge. We're holding on to it for now. We're holding on to the charge. 1 SCV gets picked up. Cyclone does get locked on the tank, and the lock-on is broken. Ooh, and INexorable he will hold. He does hold on here. A bit of a messy engage both ways. They do end up trading Cyclone for Cyclone, but in the end, INexorable he does hold on here. He does defend his natural, and with that, he can slowly build up. Likewise, Papito working on his own, the 3rd CC, and he's still pushing, by the way. Oh my god. Papito has been hyper aggressive this game, just non-stop moving out across the map with his Reapers, with his Hellions, with his Cyclones, now with his tank as well. There is a bit of a slip up here, and that is, yeah, a very late upgrade here for Papito. Very late in Interference Matrix. That is a concern. And meanwhile, this tank is on the turn. We have auto turrets. We're coming in. Disables. It does disable. Lock it on the tank. Tank goes down. Massive pickup. Ravens do get low here, but they get away, and with that, INexorable has a much cleaner cleanup here. He will lose 3 SCVs, and his gas is going to be delayed, but he gets a tank. That is a better trade for the Blue Terran. Much better trade. And with that, INexorable, he does shut this down. He defends, he takes a lead. He already had the greater economy, and now coming into a greater army as well. And it's going to be a tough hold. It's going to be a very difficult hold here for Papito. He does have his Ravens, and that will help when it comes to the counter disables. But the lower tank count here, it's going to be still quite difficult to defend, even if he does disable every single tank. There are 2 tanks pushing out. There are 2 disables available. But the Vikings, their goal here is to turn away. And there aren't many Marines to support. Yeah, we're just moving in. We're moving in. Here they come. The Vikings, they just land. Yeah, they just up to go to the land. They focus on one, and they should get both tanks. It's quite close. Micro's back to the tank. Gets us up the final one. Oof. Yeah, breaks through the main army. Still a very close and still a very messy fight just because we're working with so few units. Ravens, they kept alive. But the INexorable doesn't have enough. You can see he's trying to bait the Marines into tank range. Very cheeky. And he's trying to bait him in. Speaking of, risky to do this without the Raven. Calm down. Be careful. Yeah, they'll spend his shots here on the Ravens. Yeah, tanks, they did unsiege a little bit prematurely. They were assuming it was going to be disables. Yeah, with that INexorable, he will win this fight. Takes down all the Vikings. Now he can hunt down the Ravens as well. He's moving in. The boys are being pulled. Yeah, the boys are being pulled. The final move here for Papito. Oh my god, massive tank shots. All the SCVs go down. 15 SCV kills. Vikings able to land. And with that, INexorable is done. He has done. He has broken the natural. Again, a very intense back and forth here, and it just came down to the wide right handful of units. As you can see, we have one tank, we have one Viking, but he kills the entire middle line. 15 SCV kills. With this behind this INexorable, he's got a third. He's got a third base fully operational, fully up and running. Yes, the Papito. There's not much behind this. He's working on stim, building up his production, but he can't actually make he can't even make use of his production. He can't spend all of his money. He can't make everything. Too much, Pappy, too much. And now we're just calming down. Again, it makes sense just because INexorable has so little to work with as well. But his third is going to kick in. Now he's getting a fourth base on location, and INexorable is going to be the first to build up his army and to go for another push. Should be. Now, other ways to recover here for Papito, it's going to be very difficult against a player of the caliber of skill of INexorable, but there are worlds where we can go for, say, drop play, or counterattacks. Like, if we can somehow get into the bases like this with the Liberator or with Viking Harass, then Papito could recover, but this is being done to Papito and not from him, so as we're getting 8 SCV kills. Vikings, they land, they deal their damage, they pick up, they pull away. And here comes the final desperation move here from Papito, moving out with his double drop. Once again, there is potential with this. I believe stim is done. Stim is complete. Papito moves out. And so does INexorable. There are Vikings on patrol, so that's... Actually, we're going for the earlier unload. Okay, making our way towards the third. Both players are going to hit each other's third bases. Papito stemming in. INexorable setting up his tanks. And he gets into the middle line. He tries to. INexorable does pull away. He has reinforcements. Yeah, he has reinforcements back at home. Even upgrades. And the army was already pre-stimmed, and with that INexorable, he does clean up. Yeah, he shuts down the main army. Shuts down the double drop. Goes for his own into the main. Papito, he has no supply to defend. He just cannot defend the main base. He's denied the third, and now he's trying to... He's down to the natural. Down to one base. One base mining. Denies combat shields. He denies it. No. Someone picks up, pulls away. Behind this Papito horse will expand to the third location. Again, still down in workers, still trying to hold on here. And there's a world where if he can have all his tanks in position, then maybe he can take a fight. But INexorable, he's just walking in. Yeah, he's just walking in. He can siege up outside the natural base, just cut off the third from the natural, or just head straight in. And he goes for it. Yeah, tanks will lead the siege. INexorable sims in. He gets 1, 2, he gets all 3 tanks. GG gets called, and INexorable, you will take game number 1. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Again, INexorable, I mean, I will say that the early game was a little bit shaky from both players, and Papito at some moments had better trades than INexorable, but that was until we saw INexorable go into the main with his Reapers, right? He went for a split push. He had the Reapers in the main base, he had distraction at the natural, he was able to get 6 SCV kills, 6 SCV kills, and from that moment, he just took a massive lead, and the board just kept rolling from there, and more damage and more damage. Papito fell further and further behind, was overly aggressive as well. GG. GG, well played. And with that, INexorable does take lead in the series. Now we're going to be loading into game number 2. Going to be loading into the Old Republic. Let's go. Let us go. As spawning in the top right hand corner of the Old Republic, we have the blue Terran player, the Brazilian Terran, representing Insane Master Killers. It is INexorable. And spawning in the bottom hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the red Terran player, the Brazilian Terran, representing Host Masters. It is Papito. Este Papito. Let's go. Let us go. We're getting into game number 2 here. And again, we'll see how our players do delve into the mid game or into the early game. Last game we had mirrored builds, and again we had Papito have faster reactions, get a better trade early on, and have a slight lead in the very early beginnings of the game. Eventually did lose that lead, but again he had the better start. We'll see if we can replicate that success or take us in a different direction. Already no proxies, no shenanigans. Welcome to the Old Republic. The Old Republic is a decently sized map, that is true, but does have more open third bases, more open fourth bases. What we would typically expect in high level TvT would be for both players to open up standard, then towards their third bases, and for one player to have momentum will be the aggressor, and then push and delay the other's third expansion, or maybe even kill. But we did see that that Papito was very aggressive last game, moving out with whatever he had, whether it was with Hellions, Reapers, Cyclones, even his first tank he went for an early push. On Tourmaline, you can make an argument that it's okay to do that just because the map is so small, but on a larger map like the Old Republic, I would hope that we don't see that from Papito. Like we gotta look after our boys, Papi. We gotta look after our units. We can't just throw them away that early on, otherwise everything just snowballs out of control. So we'll see. We'll see how Papito will adjust his approach. So far, once again, double gas at faster factory. Same can be said for INexorable. So far, mirrored builds, everything's looking as it should. INexorable does go for an SCV scout, looking for proxies here on the top side. Don't blame him. Technically, this means that Papito has a slightly better economy, as he has one SCV that is not scouting. Meanwhile, INexorable does. Reaper does move out across the map, and ooh, he spends a shot. Yeah, he does spend the first shot here on the SCV. INexorable does give chase. Papito thankfully does pull away, but he will miss the Reaper. He catches who? Oh, okay, Papito once again has the better trade over the Reaper. I shouldn't be able to catch the Reaper though. We'll be able to race back home and make it back. As both players are expanding. Again, slightly better trade here for Papito, but the Reapers will regenerate their HP. We'll regen. Behind this we have Reaper Hellion out of INexorable. It's 2 Reapers and 1 Hellion. And we can see that Papito, I believe, is making another Reaper. Yeah, he's going up to 3. He's going up to 3 Reapers and 2 Hellions. This is a bigger commitment out of our red Terran player. The blue Terran is already transitioning into Cyclones. We're already switching out. So there's going to be a small window in time where Papito has a greater ground army compared to INexorable. That's only until the Cyclone arrives. Once the Cyclone pops out, then we do lean more in favor of the blue Terran player. Typically. There's a world where we can maybe dive on the Cyclone, focus it down, and then overwhelm. But it is going to be difficult. As Papito is pushing. Oh. attacking from behind. Does get a shot from the Hellion. Hellion goes down, Reaper as well. Diving in the Cyclone again, just a really nice angle of attack here for Papito. But the match repairs. Do we keep the Cyclone alive? We do. And match repair on the Cyclone. Ooh, cleans up everything. And INexorable, he does hold on. It was a very clutch hold. I do think that if the army had come in from behind as we saw, and if we had gone straight for the Cyclone instead of the Hellion, I do think that would have been a better, more valuable target. Unfortunately, in the end, the Cyclone survived. I was the backbone of the defense there, and INexorable does hold. Behind this reactor Viking, wait, what? What's going on? Back at home, we're going for a faster third TC, so is INexorable, but we're going for a very early reactor Viking. That's a little bit odd here. So reactor Viking plus Marauder production as well. This is quite gas intensive here, what we're building. Stim, Marauder production, tanks, Vikings. You typically would not get Vikings this early on unless you wanted to go for an all-in. Back at home in INexorable, he's getting his Ravens, he's getting more units that gain more value over time. First tank is going to go down. Oh, hop it, very nice pickup. Papito saves the tank, breaks the lock on. But again, a very messy start here. As INexorable actually went to Banshee first, then into Raven. Dips into the main. Getting into 5 SCV kills, 6 SCVs even, almost 7. 6 workers going down. Delaying the third TC. And behind this, we're just getting to a standard bio setup. Now, one of the reasons why this is a little bit weird here is, one, the early sim timing. You're not going to have many Marines, right? Or not going to have many units whatsoever. Because you're not going to reactor Marine production, because you're going straight into Stim, how many Marines are there? How many bio units are there actually? There's 1 Marine and 1 Marauder. This is it. This is the bio army. So why are we getting into Stim so quickly when there's nothing to take advantage of, right? So again, just really early Stim. There's not really much value to it. Meanwhile, we do have the early Viking tank. Like, this does make more sense, but this makes more sense for an all-in. Does get across the map. Will delay the third base. That is true. Does delay the third. Focus on a couple of SCVs, not bad. 1, 2 SCV kills at the same time. Here comes INexorable, he breaks out. He throws down the mass auto turrets. Turrets are thrown down. It does get 1 tank. Can he get the other though? It's getting messy. Yeah, it's getting very messy here. The tank shot's gonna be going up. Papito. Oh my god. That's Papito. He's barely cleaned up here. It was a messy fight, a messy engage. Papito, he's down to 1 tank. Down to 1. Oh, the starter stepping. Oh no, no high vision. No, he has no vision. The tank was on the ramp. Did not actually get to see the tanks of INexorable. He couldn't see, Pappy. He couldn't see. And with that, INexorable does take the better fights. Now claiming his third. Papito, his own third base, is a little bit later here, but will soon be landed on location, I'm sure. Shoot all those SCVs going down. I mean, the upgrades, sorry, the economies are quite close. Once the base lands. Now we can calm down. We can calm things down. INexorable building on his own bio tank army. 1-1 upgrades on the way. Stim on the way. On the flip side here, Papito, he's still trying to build himself back up. Still going reactor Viking. Into mass bio tank. Again, army-wise, we're heading in similar directions, outside of the fact that Papito is going for more and more Vikings. Speaking of, oh, Viking maybe gets 1 SCV. It looks like 1 worker to go down. Not much more than that. INexorable going for a fake drop. Okay, interesting. Runs into Vikings. And ideally he wants to try to force a reaction here out of Papito. And there it is. Yeah, it does force a mass stim into the main. Distracting the Red Terran. Here comes the main army. And Medevac's going down, and that has created an opening. The does get the Sable off. First tank goes down. Gets 1. We'll get the other as well. And with that, the third is going to be broken here. Again, Papito completely out of position. No. Vikings, they do somewhat trade well. Only one tank sieged. Yeah, so a messy engage here in INexorable. Only sieging on one of the tanks. That means that's DPS. And then with that, it's going to be cleaned up completely. Gets cleaned up, but he kills 13 SCVs. That's still worth it for INexorable. He still cripples the economy. He traded with the tanks. Did up to trade. Papito getting desperate. Moving out. Again, Papito moves that across the map. He's got his drop on the right-hand side, the main army through the center. At the same time, INexorable, he does come in from behind, and there's not really much of him to defend. Yeah, there's a handful of Marines, there's one tank. It's going to be a messy defense here from Papito. No, he F2's back him. No, he F2's. Yeah, he turns everything back around. By the time he does, it's going to be too late. He's already losing workers. Yeah, already losing his army. Now, technically, Papito, he will eventually clean this up. That is true. But at the same time, INexorable's freely mining on 3 bases. He's now getting a 4th expansion. The army doesn't achieve much at home. And INexorable moving out with the second wave. Yeah, second wave, second army. Out once again. Going for a massive sim, diving in the CC. Let's go for the dive. Tanks, they call on siege. Massive pickups. Oh no, he catches the tanks. Yeah, tank's going to be going down. 1, 2, 3 tanks do fall. GG gets called, and INexorable, he will claim the series at 2-0. GG. Whew. And GG, well played. He will claim the series again. We did see Papito, who was able to hold his own for a time in the first game. Here in game number 2, there were some moments for Papito, but at the same time, it was an interesting build of choice here. Rushing into early stim, going into early Viking production as well. It felt a little bit haphazard, a little bit kind of off the cuff, is what I will say, and it was very messy. We had a very messy game there, and again, had a couple of nice moments here and there. He was able to do some counter damage, but overall did fall behind. I mean, regardless, INexorable, he is still the favorite player. Of course, coming into it, is one of the best Terran players in Brazil. But Papito, he was again, he has been improving himself. He's been getting better over time, of course, and we look forward to seeing more of him in the future. Look forward to it, Papi. GG. GG, well played, Papito. As that does lead us into the finals. That leads us into the grand finals here. INexorable does advance on to face off against Eric in a best of 5. Let's go, baby, let's go. It is time. Unfortunately, we did not have the replays of the upper semifinals, so we weren't able to cover that. But we are here for what matters most here. The grand finals, the best of 5 ZVT here between Eric and INexorable. These two often go back and forth. When I think of the best players in Brazil currently, it is Eric, INexorable, and Master. I know that Kamikaze has been threatening INexorable in recent times. That is true, and Diego still plays StarCraft, but Diego, he is not in Brazil. He's in Europa at the moment, so he does not play in these tournaments. Maybe one day we'll drag him on. Diego. As we are jumping into game number 1. Fun fact as well, INexorable and Eric, they're both competing in the Collegiate Star League, in the University League that began last week or the week before that. So really cool to see. They're playing together there, and I do have high hopes of them as well. Like, they're both very strong players, and we expect them to go far. We'll be waiting for those matches.